Wait. So you're telling me there's a naturally occurring plant substance that can help quiet your mind, reduce feelings of anxiety, help you feel less self conscious, leading to less worry, potentially cure things like depression, PTSD, addiction, help you rekindle your joy for life? It's not super expensive and we decided to make it illegal? I know it seems like I'm making a lot of claims here, but I'm really not exaggerating very much at all. And all of these things have been claims and studies have been done, anecdotal evidence from individuals has been said out there, videos have been created about the use of what people call magic mushrooms and the insane benefits they can potentially have. And you might be like, oh, Andrew, this video is about your first time trying mushrooms and you have all of these claims. But yeah, I'm doing that right now. So, anyway, yeah, we decided to make them illegal, which doesn't make any sense, but at the same time makes a ton of sense because I think at its crux, it helps you be more present and it basically, if I can summarize it quickly, so we're this right here. This is a person, my fist right now. And throughout our lives, we have this fog built up around us of assumptions about the world, who we think we are, certain beliefs, certain a lot of it probably for a lot of people negative beliefs about yourself and what you can and can't accomplish and do. All that mushrooms does, it doesn't necessarily alter you. It doesn't alter you by like adding to this idea where it's all this fog and there's you. It more strips away things. It strips away all of this mental chatter, all of this noise, all of these preconceived beliefs about the way things are and this idea of, oh, it is the way it is. So it clears up this fog or peels back these layers to allow you to be fully yourself and be fully aware in the moment, in the present moment. And that's kind of it at its core. And even if I'm not even talking about doing a bunch, I'm talking about the use of microdosing, the use of mid dosing. I, quite frankly, so far, I haven't even taken enough to hallucinate or anything like that. And yet I have felt all of the benefits that I have previously listed. Anyway, so at its core, it peels back, it clears up this fog and allows you to just enjoy and be aware in the moment without all of that mental chatter and your mind constantly talking to you. Like my mind has been so much quieter these past few days and it has been fucking awesome. So that's my little intro bit here. But this video is all about my first experience taking magic mushrooms. It has been, what was it, Friday? What is today? Tuesday. So I took them Friday, took a little bit more Saturday, and then tried a microdose Monday morning. I'll talk about all three, how much I took exactly, the process of me taking them. Did I take it all at once? Did I take it in doses? The effects that I felt. So just being completely, just like putting it all on the table. I took a bunch of notes on my phone. I'll probably just read off a lot of them. I had a bunch of thoughts while I was on them, wrote all those down, just going to basically read those off and potentially expand on them. I'm also in the future going to be testing them out more, trying out different things, probably in the near future, up my dose a little bit. So I'll definitely be making a video about that. So if you've made it this far, if you are interested in hearing about that, make sure you subscribe. If you could like the video, be amazing. And if you are interested in learning more or connecting with these mushroom type substances, I have linked some resources down below and a friend that I have made. So I have linked all of his stuff there if you're interested in learning more. I feel like I'm being pretty obvious here, but YouTube guidelines and whatnot. I'm not recommending anyone do it, although I'm sure once this video's over, you might be at least intrigued into looking into it. And even something like, microdosing, taking a small dose, 100 milligrams, 200 milligrams, you're not going to feel a whole lot. And it's not like there's this stigma that, oh, I'm going to be like hallucinating and all this shit. And it's like, no, it's just those things that I described earlier, a quieter mind, more peace in the moment, more aware in the moment. And that's, I think, the core of what these help you do. And they're completely naturally occurring. They have been around for eons longer than we have. Like, we came from them. They didn't come from this earth that we came to. We came out of the earth. We came from these mushrooms. So, again, if you're interested in learning more, resource down below to my friends' pages. I'm also going to link some more resources, some videos I have watched related to magic mushrooms, some really good channels. I'm not going to get too like sciencey here. There are some channels that do get more into that. This basically is just going to be about my experience, how much I took, how I felt, how I've felt since. And yeah, so not recommending anything here, just expressing my experience as someone who grew up pretty fucking straight edged. And probably if you told me I would do, shrooms at some point in my life, I'd tell you you're crazy, even, maybe a few months ago. Well, not a few months ago, because I was thinking about it then too. But, and also, my friend Ray and I, together, we have our Dualistic Unity podcast, are doing a social anxiety workshop starting October 19th. It's a 4-week thing, 4 weeks in a row, every Tuesday from 6 to 7:30. If you're interested in signing up for that, I'm going to link it down below as well. So check out the description of this video, because I think you'll find a lot of interesting stuff, especially if you're early on in this journey. But anyway, so yeah, why did I take mushrooms? That's the first thing I wanted to get to. So I'm sure if you've gotten to this video, you follow me on social media or have seen some of my videos somewhere if you've gotten to this page. So I post, a lot of things related to fear, worry, anxiety, dealing with them, managing them, all of that, but also like existential related things, like who we truly are, awareness, like, am I Andrew or am I just aware of him? Like, I'm aware of the room that I am in. I'm aware of it. I'm also aware of Andrew. Am I really Andrew or am I not? Or am I everything because I'm aware of everything and everything exists within my awareness, including you, and I exist within your awareness. So maybe we're not so different, and maybe we're all just that awareness that's been, labeled with all these things. And something that these mushrooms help you do is peel back those layers and realize that maybe we're not so different, and maybe we are the same thing. So I heard a lot about them. I started looking into them a few weeks ago. Found, some people through TikTok who are involved with them. And it just piqued my interest. And I figured, I'm already thinking about this stuff. People think that I do them already. Might as well try. And a lot of people thought I would really like them, and they were correct. So that's the background on why I tried them. But let's get into my experience. So I have it all written down on my phone here. Basically, just gonna like read off the process of me. So I got, what did I order? I ordered caplets that are 200 milligrams each, and then some powder. I think I got 3 grams of that. So what did I do? So this past Friday, it was, what was that? October 1st? Yeah. So after work at 3:52 p.m., took my first dose of 200 milligrams. So I was admittedly a little bit hesitant starting off, had no idea what it was going to feel like. I heard that, microdosing, which is for someone my size, 200 to 300 milligrams is like considered more of a microdose. So it's basically, from my understanding, 100 to 300 milligrams is like considered microdose. Once you get into like 400 to 400 milligrams to 1.4 grams or 1.2 grams is like a mid dose, and then 1.2, 1.3 up to 4 grams is like a macro dose. And each amount that you add is going to differ. There's no set experience, at least from my research, in how you personally are going to be affected based on the amount that you take. It differs for everyone. But just because, 1.5 to 4 is a macro dose doesn't mean that 1.5 is going to feel the same as 4. I'm sure. I'm guessing. Yeah, we'll see. We'll probably find out soon what a higher macro dose is like. And then once you get into the 5 gram and above, it's considered a heroic dose. And that's, yeah, I don't know if I'm quite gonna get into that too soon, but we'll see. You never know. Stay tuned. I'll probably make a video about that eventually down the road. But anyway, so Friday, 3:52 p.m. took my first dose of just 200 milligrams. I felt it 15 to 20 minutes ago, or 15 to 20 minutes later. Very mild feeling, just a tiny bit of tingles. 4:45, about an hour later, had a slight headache. I did hear that I should be drinking a lot of water, so I made sure to just like continue drinking lots of water, and that helped. Headache went away pretty quick. 4:55, so an hour after I took my first dose, took a second dose of 200 milligrams. Pretty much felt the same. And then 5:31, about 35 minutes later, took my third dose of 200 milligrams. So first time trying, it was 600 milligrams total. But it was spaced out. So it definitely didn't have the impact as if I were to take it all at once, from my understanding. But that's what I did, and then I'm basically just going to read off all these notes. 5:45 p.m. So this is 2 hours after I took my initial dose, 15 minutes after my third dose. I wonder if I was feeling anything, and then realized that I hadn't thought anything for a while. I was cleaning dishes and wasn't really thinking at all, and then I became aware of the fact that the only thought I had was about how few thoughts I had, and I started laughing pretty hard. And I thought, oh, this is it. This is life. I don't need anything more than to be able to wash dishes. Isn't that amazing? So that was just an initial realization, was just like, I was enjoying washing dishes, and it wasn't like, the Adderall type high where just like anything you do is cool. It was just an appreciation for the moment, because my mind was so quiet that I was just fully able to engage in what I was doing. And that's what I've felt throughout this whole process of doing these things, and trying them out. And then 5:50, so like 5 minutes later, I burst out laughing again and thought, how are these illegal? Especially with the dose that I took, it's like I was far from any sort of hallucination related things. So it's just like there's a lot of research being done into, the use of them and how they can potentially be extremely beneficial for mental health issues, anxiety, depression, and whatnot, curing potentially PTSD and addiction. So, yeah, especially with a smaller dose, not really too much to worry about from my understanding. Again, not recommending anything. So a few minutes later, I leave for a walk, and I just start walking around New York. Ended up walking around for like 3 hours. This was at about 6 p.m. And I just walked around. It was awesome. And I'm just going to read off some of the thoughts that I have, maybe expand on them a little, and then we'll get into Saturday, when I took about 3 times as much. I'm really just watching the world. There are no identities. We create identities, and they're all made up. We're given a name. We're given, we have this idea of who we are based on what people tell us that we are. But what if we stripped identities? What if there were no identities? What if there were no labels? It would become pretty clear that we're all the same, right? If there were no labels, like if none of us had names and we were just like called you, the reason we have names is just to make things easier. We would all be you. Next thought. I find myself looking above the level of people more, like at the sky and buildings and trees, and seeing the people as equal to the trees and everything else, as opposed to standing out like they normally do. So I noticed that I was almost seeing people as equivalent to nature, which we truly are, but because we have created all of these identities for each individual person, we think of them as individuals separate from the environment, when really they're just the environment. And I found myself noticing that. I was seeing the trees and the sky, and I was walking along the river and the water and the wind and the people as equals. And it was all just things happening. I got a couple more thoughts here on day one. Any fear that I have isn't about an actual event. It's about the feeling I would feel if it were to happen. And I'm always just witnessing my feelings, never actually them. I felt all those feelings I'm afraid of before, and I've survived. And here I am. So this was related to fear and this idea that we fear when we have a fear of something happening, it's not the event, it's how we would feel if it were to happen. And we don't want to feel that way, so we're afraid of it, but it's because we sort of identify with that thought or feeling, the feeling more so, as opposed to realizing that we're just witnessing our feelings. We're just the watcher of our feelings. We're the watcher of our thoughts. We're the watcher of our emotions. We're aware of them. If Andrew starts overthinking or being afraid of something or worrying, I'm aware. I am aware that Andrew is doing those things. I am just the awareness. So the fear is of that feeling, but all I'll ever be is just aware of that feeling. So, and I survive it every time, and here I am. I'm always here and now. We are the here and we are the now. The more you hear, the closer you get. So that was just like a random thing that popped in. I think this was just like the idea, something that can help you ground you in the present is just being aware and listening, being aware of sound. So if you just are able to listen to what's going on in the street or in the room you're in, it quiets your mind naturally because you can't be thinking. The internal noise gets sort of drowned out by the external noise. When you actually become aware of it, we usually just aren't very aware of it. Last one, I just stared at a pond of ducks for a good 10 minutes. Seeing their interactions, I saw that they were so close to human, it was crazy. I also realized they are me because they're alive, witnessing as well. Anything that's alive is me. So that's the idea that we're all the same awareness. So I saw these ducks, and through their eyes, they were seeing the other ducks, and they were seeing me. And I existed within their awareness, and I existed within their awareness, and they existed within my awareness. And that's it. We're all just that awareness that's been conned into believing that we're a separate thing, like the analogy of the tree and the leaves. Like, we're all the tree that has leaves, and we die as just a leaf falling off the tree, and we've been conned into believing that we're just the leaf, but we're the whole tree, and everything is the tree. Whether it looks like bark, or the leaf looks brown, or it looks green, or it looks yellow, or it looks orange, it's all the tree. It's not just a leaf, it's the tree. We're all the universe. So anyway, that's day one. Let's get on to day two. So day two, I basically, Friday went great. Had an awesome time walking around New York. Obviously had a lot of thoughts, like no hangover by any means. So next day I was like, all right, let's ramp this up a little. So I get up, 8:25. I take 1.4 grams. So the day before, in total I took 600 milligrams. The next day, 1.4 grams. So 600 milligrams is zero point 0.6 grams. So about a little over half a gram. This time I took 1.4 grams. So quite a bit more. 8:50, about 25 minutes later, start to feel it a little. 9:05, 15 minutes later, feeling it more. And I felt like way more time passed since 8:50. So I think because I was so aware in the moment that time slowed down a little bit, because I wasn't like, my mind wasn't racing all the time. I was able to actually be grounded in the moment. So time seemingly slowed down. It obviously, kept going, but I was so aware in each moment that it felt like it did. 9:32, about a little over an hour after I took it. I definitely feeling it. Haha, so fucking cool to be a human. So yeah, it started to hit me like, damn, it is awesome to be a human, and that feeling has stuck with me since. Quite frankly, I'll get to that later, like how things have stuck and just how good I have felt since this experience. And just how cool it is to do anything as a human. Like, we're like avatars walking around feeling like we have all these problems, when realistically it's just so cool just to be alive and experiencing anything. Like, we can do so many things. I can hold my phone right now and read it, talking to a video camera on a microphone that I'm going to post for probably, I don't know, hundreds of people, thousands of people to see. Like, I don't know, just that idea is so cool. Like there's so much happening just right here, and it's so cool. So anyway, pretty fucking cool to be a human. 9:56, about an hour and a half later, 90 minutes later, I took another zero point 0.4 grams. So this is considered a kicker. So it's kind of I've kind of settled into the feeling of the 1.4 grams. It was recommended by a friend to take another zero point 0.4, zero point 0.5 grams after that. So I took zero point 0.4 grams. And then 10 minutes later, I went on a walk around New York, and I just walked around for like 3 hours, and it was awesome. I'll just read off. I had a bunch of thoughts. I'll go through these a little more quickly, um, but or maybe I'll skip through some. I don't know. What does it mean to know someone? Just to have. What does it mean to know someone? Just to have had a few interactions and know what they've been named. So I started questioning, like, what does it even mean to know someone? Like, oh, I know them. Like someone good friend from college or something. Like I feel closer to them and like I know them, even though like what is that? What is the difference between that and someone who I don't know? Like I just have had more interactions. I know their name. Like it was just intriguing to me, this idea of like knowing someone versus not knowing someone. So yeah, I'm just gonna like go through these kind of quickly. I'm not gonna like delve into them too much. You can take them for what you will. um, the sun was out. I remember it was on my back. God damn, the sun feels good right now. So that's another thing, is you just become aware of everything that you're feeling also, because I think it just comes back to like your mind isn't so fucking noisy and clouded, and this fog is getting diminished, that you're able to actually just feel more. Like it feels so good. I remember once I got to the Hudson, walking along the West Side Highway in New York, it was like the sun was hitting me. It was breezy, so it was warm but also windy, and then I could smell the salt water from the river, and I was like, I don't even need anything more than this. This is fucking awesome. Like this is so cool, and this is all I need. Just to be able to walk along the West Side Highway, stare at people and watch and look at some animals and some dogs walking by, smell the salt water, feel the sun, feel the breeze. So yeah. Next one. Labels and brands are weird. They really only have the meaning we give them. That's true. You know, like Gucci. It doesn't actually have any inherent meaning. It's literally just the meaning we give them. And I get into some more thoughts about this. But yeah, brands are weird. I was waiting at a traffic light, waiting to cross the road, and I was looking back and forth, and I was like, well, no one's coming, so I can just go. And it was this idea that everything is just made up to make things easier and to allow us to be less aware. We don't have to look both ways anymore, because we just watch the stoplight, and even if there's no cars coming, we still just chill there and wait. We don't have to do that. If there's no cars coming, we can cross the fucking road. So anyway, everything is made up, even the idea of Andrew. So the idea of Andrew is nothing more than a concept or an idea that everyone has a different idea of Andrew in their head, including myself. So we're all just ideas, and there's so many versions of us that live inside of everyone's head. So when it comes to pleasing others, just focus on the one that's going to make you happy, which is pleasing yourself. This was kind of funny. Walking on the West Side Highway, I just heard someone say, I was the best girlfriend ever. I thought to myself, wait, what? How the hell do you know that about you? You experienced that whole thing from one perspective, lol. Also, it doesn't matter. The best for you doesn't mean the best for someone else. And guess what? You can't date yourself. So someone said they're the best girlfriend ever. And it's like, what? You don't know that. Just because you were the best girlfriend in your head doesn't mean you were the best girlfriend in the person you were dating's head. Like you could have been the best girlfriend, perfect girlfriend ever in your head. Doesn't mean you were to anyone else. That's a subjective opinion. So I just found that so funny. I was literally just walking past someone and heard him say that. I like started dying laughing. I can't really control anything, and that's okay. Once you realize that it's okay to not control every little thing, and realize that control is more or less an illusion, and you really can't control very much at all, you'll become more comfortable in discomfort and more okay with uncertainty. The only certain thing out there is uncertainty. So becoming more comfortable with that will allow a lot of these feelings like anxiety to begin to diminish. when you're entirely aware of the now, you notice infinitely more things in it. And through that, you realize there's so much here and that you don't need anything else. So I think that was the last thought I wrote down. I think that's a good way to sort of close off this video. It's basically they're they can be an amazing tool in allowing us to clear up that fog that we have built up throughout our existence and throughout our lives. And if we have all of these layers built up about who we are and our beliefs and our ideas of the world, it helps just to peel those back. Again, these mushrooms are not adding anything to you, they're just peeling everything back so you can be more aware and realize how fucking cool it is just to be alive and just to be a human. So since real quick, just since I took them, I did. So this was Friday and Saturday. It's Tuesday now. I took a microdose yesterday just to feel, because I was talking to some people about like how they should maybe try microdosing. So I wanted to feel how 200 milligrams would feel. It was basically how I felt. So Sunday I didn't take any, but I still kind of felt like I was tripping. Like I was just aware so much more of like everything. I was just so aware of what was going on in the moment and just how cool it was just to be able to like walk around and do the littlest things. And that feeling has sort of stuck with me. My mind has been a lot quieter since I tried these out, which has been amazing. I feel just more grounded in the moment. I have less feelings of worry. Worry, anxiety, depression, it all exists inside of the mind. So if that's able to quiet and we're able to feel a little bit more connected to everything, then those feelings will begin to diminish. And there's been studies, I'll post some videos down below, and I'm not going to get into the science, but really it sort of, from my understanding, sort of strips some of these wires that we have gotten tangled up throughout our lives. It just organizes them and cuts a lot of them and all of these beliefs and ideas of who we are and what we are and what we can and can't accomplish and our ideas of the world. And it just opens our minds up to that. So, yeah, I felt great since. I know I've heard that they can have lasting impacts. I think it probably will have a lasting impact on me. I was already seeing things in a different way the last couple months, and it just exacerbated those feelings basically. Again, not recommending to anyone, but if you did enjoy this video, you think it might be for you, trying a smaller dose to start might not be a horrible idea. Again, no recommendation, but if you're interested in learning more, I linked some of my friends' links down below. You can check him out. He can help maybe allow these mushrooms to find you. So anyway, if you enjoyed the video, feel free to subscribe, toss it a like if you're interested. I'm going to be testing out some more different doses in the future and going to be making more videos, so probably won't want to miss out on those. I hope you enjoyed it. Comment any questions that you had again. And yeah, that's all I got. Have a great rest of your week, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace.
Later, dudes. S you in your A's. Don't wear a C in jail over your B's.